Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back. Kellen here with Droid Life. So I've got in front of me today the Moto 360 Sport. You can see that right there, Sport. So this is essentially the sport version or the fitness version of the Moto 360 second gen that came out a couple of months ago. And actually, when Motorola announced the new version of the Moto 360, they also announced the sport version. At the time, it wasn't ready for prime time, so they wouldn't really let us get our hands on working models, and we took some pictures of some dummy units, but that was essentially all we got time with it wise. So it's ready now, and it actually starts shipping in December in the UK, I believe overseas. It arrives in the US on January 7th, and it will cost $299. So it's pretty close in price to the normal Moto 360 second gen. But this is a lot different because this, again, is a fitness sort of geared watch. It's got silicone band and all that stuff. It's got a GPS built in, which the other Moto 360 doesn't. And it should be your workout buddy. You could wear it as a regular Android Wear watch as well, but it is sort of geared towards the fitness folk. So yeah, it has GPS, it has a heart rate monitor, it runs Android Wear, and it'll also work with iPhones. One of the big keys, though, is the display. So they're using this new display tech called AnyLight. So it's an LCD display, but depending on the lighting you're in, whether that's outdoor or indoor, it should adjust. And so you can always have a good viewing experience. So anyways, we're going to unbox quickly and then get towards a review. Again, this is a little bit different than the regular Moto 360 just because it has a GPS and it's made for sort of fitness. And so we want to give it some run. So here's the watch. I'm just going to set that aside for now. So it's the same packaging as the new Moto 360 second gen, just says sport. So there's your charging adapter, and then this is the charging stand, since it does wirelessly charge just like the new Moto 360. So set all that aside. Here is the watch. So again, $299 and ships in the US here in early January. So we'll take that off. Just first impression, it looks a lot like the Gear S2. Let's run through specs though. So it comes in black, white, or an orange color. Obviously this is the black, but you can get a white version or an orange version if you're into orange. Has a heart rate sensor here on the back. I would imagine that's the exact same one in the regular 360. It is IP67 dust and water resistant, wirelessly charges, has a 300 milliamp hour battery. So not a huge battery, not particularly small either though. Still has an ambient light sensor, so you are going to get that flat tire. You can see it right there. So you are going to get the flat tire. Has Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, obviously. Runs Android, has 4 gig of internal storage, 512 megabytes of RAM. It's just powered up here while we're talking about this. So it's sort of just like, and it's got the Snapdragon 400 processor, which everyone seems to be running in their smartwatches outside of Tag and Fossil. So it's kind of got those same specs that you get in the regular Moto 360. Again, it's just a sport watch. So black silicone band on this one. Crown at 2 o'clock up here, which is handy, so it's not jabbing into your wrist. Let's see, the watch case dimensions, it says it's 45 millimeters wide, but it doesn't, just in hand like this, and I'll put it on wrist in a second, it doesn't necessarily look that big, so it's a little odd. That's pretty much it in terms of specs. So it runs Android Wear, which is going to give you an experience just like you get on any other watch. Now, you can pair it with Moto Body and hopefully get some more sort of fitness apps and stuff going on. But otherwise, the experience isn't going to be that much different. The big deal here is GPS. Well, here it is on wrist, by the way. So not small. It's not enormous, but it's definitely not small. It does say 45 millimeters. So, now that it's on wrist, I would kind of agree that it is probably 45 millimeters. So sizable sport watch. We'll obviously have to test the display and going outside, indoors, and how it reads and all of that. I'm obviously in a controlled environment here. So let's do a quick comparison here to, this is the Gear S2. So the Gear S2 is actually a little bit smaller and sort of the same style with that silicone band, all black, although you do get the rotating bezel here. This is a fixed bezel for sure. Definitely similar looking. The Gear S2 does not have GPS. Although you can buy a 3G version, about the same price point too. I believe, the Gear S2 is $299. So similar there. This does obviously run Tizen instead of Android Wear. Here it is next to the big guy, the Moto 360 second gen 46 mil. So it looks so much bigger, this does, but maybe that's just because the display here seems to be smaller than this. So this is, I didn't mention, this is the 1.3 inch display here. So a little bit smaller. So there's that. And then here's the little guy. Here's the 42 mil. So that's about it. So $299 sport watch. I will say, and this may not be fair, but I'm just seeing just some weird pixel stuff there. You can kind of see it up there at the top. Again, this is sort of a new display tech they're using here, but just kind of around the whole display, just kind of getting this weird sort of pixelization or something, if you want to call it that. Anyways, we'll dive into that deeper and get it up and running and pair it and start talking about it. So if you guys have any comments or questions or wants to test anything in particular, we can do that. Otherwise, this is the Moto 360 Sport, Motorola's new sport watch. We're Droid Life. Peace.